Welcome to New and In Between, hosted by me, Mia Quinn Maddox, where I'll be discussing the hows and whys to my journey towards my faith. I've learned through my highs and lows that this path is not mine to travel alone. Join me mid journey as I embrace my wins, losses, and everything in between. Okay. Oh, he's a camera operator, so I'm sure you know. I'm like the hood. Which one got a hood? Okay, okay.
I'm a fly on the wall. So
All right. All right, ready? Okay. Hello, 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 everyone. I'm Mia Quinn Maddox, and this is New and In Between, Season 3, episode. What episode is this? 4 or 5? Who knows? I don't even remember. It's an episode, another episode. I am pushing through, I'm doing more. It's becoming a little bit easier, a lot more challenging, but I feel like a challenge is better than anything else. But yes, so here we are, season 3. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. So, as I said before, if you have watched, and if you haven't, you should. I wanted to showcase all the men that I know. I know a lot of people, but I know a lot of dope men. So today I have the honor of having a longtime friend and colleague, Jorge Del Toro. Hi, Jorge.
hello, Mia. It's been a while.
I know it has, it has, it has. So tell everyone how we know each other.
Oof. Well, Limitless. That was like 9 years ago, I think.
So when you say limitless, let everyone know what your career is.
So right now I am a camera operator. It's been a long journey to get to that, and I'm happy that I finally did it. At the time when we met on the Limitless TV show, I was a second AC at the
Hmm.
time. Um, and here I am,
I know that was a long time ago.
9 years.
I know, because I'm
Wow.
almost on my 10 years. I'm almost have been doing this now for 10 years. Wow,
Wow.
time goes by so fast.
I had the beard, the long hair.
You
Now I remember.
did.
Oh my god.
You always had such cool style. That's kind of what
Oh,
made us
thank you.
click, because you would come over, you would set up the monitors for us. I'm like, dang, he's dressed cool. And, we know wardrobe dress is cool and the camera department dress is cool. They usually are the ones that have the most style, but you had super style. And a lot of the times, like if we were in like shitty places, you still came dressed. I said, yeah, no, he gets dressed all the time.
I love it.
I was like, I know he gets dressed all the time because this is not where you wear that, but he don't care. And you never cared.
No. I mean, I had to impress you guys, you know? It's like every day I was like sitting in front of the mirror, like, what do I do now?
That was a cool show. That was a cool show. That was my first full-time job, and it was 11 months.
Mm-hmm.
It was for I got picked up for the back 9, so then it went to 22 episodes, and I did every job. I did background, and then the supervisor left, and I was on the truck somehow. I ended up on the truck, and then I ended up keying towards
Yeah.
the end. I did every job. That was a long job. I made a lot of money on that job. It tricked me into
Mm-hmm.
thinking that this industry pours money out, which it does, but sometimes it stops. We'll
Yeah.
talk about that later. But yeah, no, that was my first full time job. So we were together for 11 months. That's a long job. Most jobs are 4 to 6, maybe 6 months.
Now 3.
Yeah,
Yeah.
3.
Do you remember the time? I don't know if you did the fitting for me, but one of the producers walked up to me on Limitless and he's like, we want you to be in this scene, in the volcano scene. And they dressed me up as a superhero.
Which superhero?
Ah, I mean, a super villain, sorry. And like they spiked my hair, and like I was at the table with all these other villains.
Damn, do I remember that? Listen, you put it in my brain. I gotta let it stir a little bit. It's gonna come out because I'm gonna remember.
I gotta find a photo though. It's
Yeah, if
hilarious.
I
Yeah.
if I see it, I'll remember.
Yeah, all tights and everything. I was like, ah.
But yeah, no, we started on Limitless.
Yeah.
And then I was off doing all the 1,000 other shows. You were off doing 1,000 other shows. And then where did we meet again? On Harlem?
I want to say Harlem, but I feel like we crossed paths. Maybe like they playing on
Yeah,
some other show.
yeah.
Yeah.
But when you were I met you again as a camera
Yes, you
operator
did.
on
Yeah.
Harlem, and that's Harlem, the show with Megan Good and what is it? Megan Good,
Yeah, Grace
Grace
Byers,
Myers. I can't remember.
Shaniqua,
Shaniqua. I don't
and
remember. And
Jerry Johnson.
yeah, and Jerry.
Yeah.
Because now I'm like Ty. Oh, and Ty Lepley. It was everyone should know that show is on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
And I'm only giving them the plug because I worked on it first season.
I mean, and I operated and I loved doing it and I had so much fun.
That was a good. That was a fun job. I mean,
Yeah.
it was a very challenging job, but it was a fun job.
It had its other, it's like a quarter. It has its other side, but at least what I experienced in it, I pretty much evolved on that show, and I did something that I always wanted to do,
Hmm.
and I found a whole side of me that I wasn't expecting, and I'm grateful to
I mean,
Harlem.
camera operators, when you watch a show, I don't know if people really understand the importance of the camera operator because it's basically how you see the show.
Yeah.
They're like the eyeball of the show.
Yeah, I mean, we listen to what the director wants to, his or her vision,
Hmm.
and then the director of photography, kind of guides us in what he wants specifically. But in the end, it's like we have this seat, we have the best seat in the house. We pretty much maneuver what we're gonna, what everybody's gonna see,
Hmm.
and I love that part.
Good. So let me ask you. We experienced a pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
Then, we kind of, if you were working, because we went back to Harlem,
Yep.
and you were able to kind of dig yourself out. Then the strike happened.
Hmm.
My podcast was birthed from the strike, so it was kind of like a gift and a curse. It taught me a lot. It made me value myself a lot more.
Yeah.
I work really, really hard. When we do these jobs, I don't know if people understand, like, to film like a day for us. Like, as a matter of fact, I'm coming from work. I've been up since 3 a.m., 2:45, because it takes me 30 minutes to wake up. I had to be to work at I think today I had to be to work at 6 a.m., but most of the time I have to be to work at 5 a.m. And I we had
Pre-call probably.
no, I get a 3 hour. I'm 2 3 hour
Oof.
pre-call. So if crew call is 6 o'clock, I'm always there two hours beforehand. And we did a whole big stunt scene with cyclists and cafes and people running into this and people getting shot here, all this stuff. Um,
The usual.
yeah, just a big one of those big scenes where everything is happening,
Yeah.
and it's like and now I'm here, you know.
Yeah. It's three
And people,
shifts in
yeah,
one day.
exactly. It's like
Yeah.
it's so much. So we work really, really hard. So to be put in a position where you're doing something that to work that hard, you have to love this
Oh yeah.
or be making a lot of money. And some people may say the money, and some people may say the love, but the strike really, kind of is. It's a big. It was and when I say strike, I mean like it's like a strike. Like we've been hit.
It was. I feel like through the pandemic, I survived. Right. Like everybody. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Well, at least I can speak for myself. I did pretty well. I was very creative during the pandemic. Um, and then during the strike, well, before the strike, I was working on a full-time job, and we kept hearing about it, and I was like, let me save my checks because if this thing does happen, I don't, the rumors are like everything's gonna stop, and that's exactly what happened for like a year, right?
Well, for me it was 6 months because um, I'm blessed to be on a show that came back early.
Yeah.
So it's like a lot of the shows, if they were like episodic, came back, but
Yeah.
not everybody.
Yeah. No, I think I finished a show that I was on in March on my birthday,
Hmm.
and then I did a couple jobs in between, and then another Harlem season 3 came back.
Yeah, season 3, because you were in Broadway. I don't know if I could. Yeah, you guys were in Broadway stages
Yeah, they kept switching us around for all seasons. I mean, it was
because
a mess.
I was on the show that I'm on now, and their wardrobe truck was across the street from ours.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah,
remember
because I
that.
think I bumped into you maybe once or twice just in passing when
Right.
you guys are outside. But
I love those
yeah,
stages, by the way.
you do.
It's the easiest to get to, I think. And like there's a lot of food options around, and that's a big deal when it comes to,
Yeah, no,
what we do.
nah, you are right. You and I'm saying I don't like it because it's so dusty and
That's
desolate.
true.
But you are right. It is the best food,
Yeah.
and it is easy to get to.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big,
Yeah.
foodie when I'm on set, and because we don't really necessarily you either get a good caterer or
Yeah,
or you don't.
and if you don't,
That's
sorry.
a
Hopefully
bad long
your
day.
crafty is good. Sometimes
Oh
it
yeah,
kind of cancel. I mean, it helps each other out. So
yeah. Some of them, and sometimes crafty like really comes through and gives you what you really like.
hot food that like
Yeah.
meatloaf, mashed potatoes, and corn and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that.
At 2 a.m., a nice
Yes,
lentil soup.
yes.
I love it.
So what was birth from the strike for you? Like, what was the strike like for you?
Um, I mean, you know me. I'm always trying to stay creative. It's like if I'm not working, I'm always trying to like write something to shoot. And even if it's not something that we're gonna take to a festival, I just like shooting. I
Mhm.
love directing. That's like my other thing. Um, but believe it or not, I wrote 3 features during the strike. 3 features,
Of
and
course, I believe
I
that.
mean, it was just like I had them in my head. I just have one right after the other, and then I met this producer, and she's like, "Oh, these are great. I think I know some people," and she went out with them. But the thing is, it's like nobody will give you money for a feature if you really haven't taken anything to a festival. It's like a catch-22.
Hmm.
So I was like, what do I do? What do I take to a festival? And that's what the project that I'm doing right now uh, gave birth. Throughout since March last year, I've been working on this, and I told myself, what do I create that showcases my creativity, but at the same time resonates with the audience?
Hmm.
And I think I nailed it.
What is it? I need what is it?
So the topic is on dementia.
Hmm.
It's about this widower who like he's suffering. He's going through dementia,
Hmm.
and he recently experienced a traumatic event that he relives every day.
So let everyone know what dementia is.
So there's different forms of dementia. One of the most popular ones is Alzheimer's.
Hmm.
Many people, it can happen to anybody. When they reach a certain age, they start, pretty much forgetting things.
Hmm.
It gets to a point where you just forget the basic stuff, like brushing your teeth or how a shirt goes on, or even the name of a loved one.
Yeah, it's funny because when I was in high school, I worked in a nursing home, and
Mm,
I was the activities. I worked in like the activities room
yeah,
with last stage Alzheimer's
yeah.
patients.
Well,
So some were like bedbound and didn't talk, but some still spoke. And a lot of the times I had to be whoever they said I was. I
yeah,
mean, like I fed them.
yeah.
It was one of my in most I've had lots of jobs, almost 27 in my whole lifetime before I started my career.
Oh
Okay,
yeah, I know
like
that
tons
boat.
of jobs, but working in the nursing home was one. So I'm familiar with it. And I also have my great aunt. She had Alzheimer's. So
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. So it's like it's a disease that shows the person who's either going through it or the people around them who they really who they really are, like that side that we
Mm.
hide. In my case, my wife's grandmother was going through early stages of Alzheimer's,
Mm-hmm.
and nobody knew about this, and she would recount the same stories every day.
Mm-hmm.
And being honest, it got to a point where I would avoid her because I just didn't want to like go
Here.
through it.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to deal with it at the time. And fast forward to now,
Mm-hmm.
I realize that how important that experience I went through is right now, because if I went through that, imagine everybody else who's going through that right now or who went through it, which that's been the case with like everybody who's read the script, which you should read. It's amazing.
Okay, I will. I definitely will. But when you get older, they say, "Oh, you have dementia." And they just, it's like, "Oh, you're getting older, so you forget things."
Yeah, it's a
Like it's
lot.
like there's no like it's, "Oh, okay, well, she has dementia.
it, it,
She's older."
I feel like people dismiss,
Yeah, like it's nothing.
it's not that they don't know what it is, it's just that they don't understand it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I'm trying to make people aware with this film. I want them
Mhm.
to understand what it's like. That's why I'm telling the story from the perspective of someone going through it,
Mm.
not from the caregiver. I think that's
Mm.
important.
Yeah, because it makes us understand like Wow, that's what it's like to not remember and
Right.
to relive the same day. Isn't there a movie about that? Like,
There's a
yeah,
couple movies like
yeah.
that. Or
They
Anthony
say all
Hopkins
ideas
did
come
one like
from
that.
something real.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean,
Wow. And I mean, I never thought of it in that way too. I mean, when I forget something or if I'm doing something and I'm like, what was I doing? You know how annoying that could be. So imagine that being your life.
imagine forgetting someone's name. It's like it's like
Mm,
the face is
you're like
familiar.
your child.
That would bingo.
And then how does me as a child, my mother that I've known my whole life doesn't even remember me? I wonder what that
Mhm.
wears on, on the person.
And that's many of the stories that people have shared with me.
Mm,
It's been heartbreaking for them,
wow.
to have their parents go through that, and the longer, they live with this condition, the
Hmm.
worse it gets. But it all sounds very morbid, but at the same time, people should know that there are ways to, promote a healthier lifestyle for people going through that, not just
Yeah.
for them, but also for their loved ones.
Hmm.
So, don't feel like there's no hope, because there is.
Yeah, no. I mean, that's that. I think that's a brilliant idea.
Yeah.
I think that's a brilliant idea. So you've been raising money. I've seen that in all your videos. Your videos are hilarious. I'll make sure we share his Instagram and do not take those down. Cause it's like all those. I'm like, did he really come out of that bin? The
Yo.
one you put up last night, talking when you came out of when they pushed the little kid down the
Yeah.
stairs and then you fell out of the bin. Like, what year is this?
No, I've been trying to, like, I had a really good friend of mine whom
Mhm.
Blake Alcantara.
Mhm.
Uh, I appreciate the things that he always shares with me.
Mhm.
And before I started the campaign, he sat down with me. He started, like, telling me how I should approach it so that I can have more, you know, m- more views on it, to
Mhm.
bring more awareness to it. And I will not lie, I've been having fun doing it. It's like a 1 day thing, you know what I mean? But
Uh-huh.
yo,
No, I mean I've
if you
seen
open the
them.
door of my office, you'll
Uh,
see me wearing a green suit, holding my dog in the air, kind of thing. But no, the campaign has really shown that creative side of me, and has really reminded me of why I do it.
it made you love it again.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have to, it's like we get so distracted by the money and
Oh yeah.
then we get the money and now we could do things and now we're this and then that and now we need to work more and now, before we would take a job that was 3 months and then take off for 2 months or a day play or
Right.
whatever that case. Now we're working, working, working. I've been working, thank God, consistently. The pandemic was the first time I was off.
Hmm.
I've only been off like maybe 2 or 3 weeks in between. 6 weeks when I'm with work now. I always work. I always work. Like
Yeah.
literally always work. Always work.
But now it feels like you have to keep working,
Yeah.
versus, like, at least after the strike. But before the strike, it didn't feel like that. It felt like, you could take a pause and have some sort of, a lifestyle where you could, do the things you like, or take time off to just recoup and then go back at it again.
Yeah, but we're all scared now. We've all had a fear instilled in us that we don't realize because you remember then they were saying, "Oh, there's going to be another strike."
Oh,
And then
yeah.
the industry has been so slow. I mean, normally everyone is working and it's been so slow. So now if you are working, it's like, oh my God, I have to work.
Yeah.
All right, I'll take whatever you take. We're taking indie jobs. There was a point where I was like, I've reached my level of indie jobs. I'm not doing any more
Yeah.
indie jobs. Like, and not anything against indie jobs, but I feel like my experience level was, I wanted to advance. So
Right.
I was, you learn a lot there, but I feel like my indie experience gave me the experience I needed in the world.
Right.
So I didn't want to stay, stuck in indie world. But I was, you start accepting indies and then now you're stressed out because
Right.
now you're working 19 hours and it's like,
Or you're doing these jobs where they pay you 30 days later, and
mm,
you're going through this period where there is no work,
mm-hmm,
and then you're like, where's that check? And that's why you'll start accepting whatever job comes your
yeah.
way, which is it's concerning, but to reality right
It
now.
is, but you know what? It's not my reality, and it's not that doesn't apply to my life. And it's funny. I had a conversation with someone yesterday who said she didn't say that to me. She said she was talking about a conversation that she had with a friend
Yeah.
who was talking about the negative parts of the all this stuff, and she's like, that doesn't apply to my life. Like I always work. We gotta I've always been working. Why would it change now?
Yeah.
I worked after the pandemic. I worked after the strike. Why would that change now? Like, and then for me it's like, all right, well, it's going to change. We'll go do something else. So now, this is my third season. I'm here. A lot of the people that helped me in the beginning have moved on to greener pastures, and now I've been able to obtain all the information and the know-how to do it on my own, and it's fun.
Yeah.
Like I'm really enjoying like listening to it and cutting it up and saying, okay, I want it cut here and add this, and oh, can you take this out, and listening to myself and like saying, oh shoot, you look like your mother.
Well, it's like obviously you've become used to seeing yourself, so you become more confident, which I've
Mm-hmm.
seen, and like I told you before, it's very exciting to see you do this. It's
I
inspirational to
never
me.
thought
You know
that
what
I
I
would
mean?
be in front of the camera. Never. Even when you guys would set up camera, if I looked and saw myself on the monitor,
Ah,
you're like, oh,
ah,
oh,
don't point that at me. You're not wrong.
yeah,
Oh, I know
yeah.
that. Yeah.
But that's so. I mean, like, I feel like, because when we were on strike, I said, you better start digging in your treasure chest. Like, we all are creatives.
Yeah.
Like, being creative it's like it's the best. I was a kid with a big imagination, so I feel like my creativity comes because I have an imagination, and that is so much like getting like when I started writing my pilot, and I'm like, oh, and then I wrote a pilot in 5 episodes. Then like I'm just sitting in and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna write a series about bowling because now I'm a bowler, and then I
What?
start writing that and doing this, and I'm like, ooh, this is it. Like the strike, it's like it helped me to sift and come back and let new things grow
To focus
on
on
what we love.
on what you really want to do. Yeah, there's a fear to it, right?
Hmm.
If you go down that road, but then it's like, well, okay, if you shift the perspective, kind of like I feel like I've sort of been doing that too,
Hmm.
with operating, and now I'm pushing into directing, which is finally what I really want to do. Uh, I was like, well, this is probably the time to hone my craft and really just, do it, and strike or no strike. And I'm glad I'm doing it. I feel,
You look good.
thank you.
You look good.
I feel
So
happier.
that's good.
You know what I mean? I think I tend to show that
To me,
whenever
I say is I feel joy because joy is
yeah,
something that is continuous.
yeah,
Happiness is something
true,
that's short lived.
right, joy.
Yeah.
I feel more joy whenever I'm doing anything creative, because creativity is my heartbeat.
Yeah, and
And
you're an artist. Let's not
uh
let's not leave that out. An amazing artist,
my
painter.
secret.
Like you're like,
Yeah.
no, I draw and I paint, and I'm like, let me see, and I'm like, what? I'm like,
Oh,
what kind of? That's dope.
yeah, my little
Let's not call our stuff little.
my
You're
secret.
big. You're big secret because to to be able to paint depth and like remember I told you the painting that you saw it in one way, then I saw it in a totally different perspective. Like art lets people have their imagination.
Yeah,
So you're an amazing artist. It's
thank
not
you.
a little art. It's like that's a big thing.
I appreciate that.
Creativity.
Yeah. It's transcending. I think the reason I don't share a lot of my paintings is because painting to me is like a teacher when it comes to learning to be patient,
Mm-hmm.
and I treasure that.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's so hard for me when somebody's like, "Oh, I'll commission you to do something." It just
Remember,
kind of,
I did that with you. We tried.
yeah. I mean, you know how I was like,
No, I know.
I'm very, it's not that I don't want to do it. It's just it takes away what it means
To
for
you.
me. Um, that's why I'm like, if people look at what I have and they like it, then awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Take it out of my room because it'll go into a closet and never be seen again. That's kind of
But
what happened with that
yeah,
painting.
no, that painting, but you pulled that painting back out and then you said, no, look, I fixed it. And I'm like, he fixed it. I'm like, it looked the same to me. But I'm not the artist. What you see through your eyes. That's why when you direct like camera, like I'm like, wow, we're seeing from an artist's perspective, a
Yeah.
real artist perspective. Cause like I paint, sometimes I'll paint. Like I like watercolor, cause if you mess up, you could fix it.
Yeah.
You know, I love watercolor, but when I'm like, this is flat. I'm like, I feel like I'm painting with a kid. I'm like, all right, I'm not doing this no more. And I look at people's artwork and painting, like you have to see, like there's so many dimensions to your sight to allow you to paint like that.
I think it's at least the way that I see it. I've noticed that I like bringing out the light. You know what I mean? I like to feel. I like to feel that, and I do that a lot when I'm operating too. I'm noticing. Matt Edwards, the DP.
Mm-hmm.
I think we would always have those discussions, and he would see me fishing for some of the stuff that he would do, and he would chuckle because
Mm-hmm.
that's um I don't know. It's something about light. You know what I mean? On camera or when I'm painting, it just bringing it out. That's what I like, and
Mm-hmm.
kind of to. I feel like that also happens with the people I work with.
Mm-hmm.
They see how into it, like how lost I get into it, how I like, we're doing a shot and I turn, I'm like, oh my God, that was so good.
No, you
And
do.
they see
You
that.
turn that off, and but you've
Yeah.
always been that way. They were like, "Oh, we need you know, when you was the AC, it's like, oh, we need this and this, and you coming over and we hearing boxes clicking, and we're always in their way, clicking
Oh,
boxes, and you're grabbing stuff and running, and then you come back 2 seconds later, and you're like, yeah, and da 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 da, and I'm
love
like,
it.
yeah, you get.
Ah, it's I think a lot of people in our industry forget this. We're still playing pretend at this age.
I tell people all the time, we're not curing cancer. We are making television. Like
Yeah,
this is all make believe.
we're playing.
If the director wants to change something, don't upset yourself because what you studied it doesn't look real. This is make
Yeah,
believe.
yeah, yeah. That's true.
And half of the people don't know anyways, and they're gonna believe it.
We're just so passionate about it that we just, we wanted to.
Yeah.
Everybody on set sees it a certain way, but in the end, when it comes together,
Yeah.
it's meant to be that way.
Yeah. I mean, we all watch TV. I'm watching. What are you watching now? Like, what do you watch? Like, what do you think
Oh my
right
God, are you
now
ready
is
for
like
this?
amazing camera work?
Oh, so I'm not gonna lie, I've been more into anime lately.
Really?
Yeah, so I wasn't into it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my wife is like, she loves anime. And she really turned me into it. I one day I sat down and I started watching it. I'm like, oh my God, this is a really good story.
Really?
It's like the stories behind anime will just rip your heart out.
It's not like cartoon?
No.
See, I guess like for me, someone who doesn't know, I just associate it with.
No, but it's not. See, that was me
Mm-hmm.
at some point, but then I started watching like all these. They're heartfelt. And then it's like the creativity that goes behind anime
Mm-hmm.
just kind of just sparked even more of my creativity.
Oh, you got to share something with me because I want to know.
You
I
know,
want to see that.
I don't know if I can say the name of it, but
I
there's
mean, we can say whatever we want. I pay for this. Okay,
so
so when I pay for this, I control what gets said and what doesn't get said. And if you would like to control this, you could contribute some money, and I'll take your opinions and everything too. So we will take that, right?
hey, why not?
Right now, go ahead, say whatever you want to say.
Paprika. So
Paprika.
one of the most creative films that I thought of our modern time was Inception.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was like, oh my God, it's the story, the editing to me was fascinating. Fast forward many years later, I see Paprika, and I was like, am I watching Inception? And Paprika is way older than Inception. So, if you watch a lot of these old animes,
Mm-hmm.
they inspired a lot of the stories that we now see, and a lot of people don't know that.
Okay, I want to know that. So you're gonna have to share some with me.
Yeah, from camera work to everything.
When I post, I'll share some too because honestly, and I mean, ignorance is the reason why we don't advance in a lot of things. I just associated with cartoon.
No.
Like, oh, that's a cartoon, and I watch cartoons, but because I watch cartoons and I know like they're silly, I'm just thinking that's the same thing.
Yeah, no, I was shocked at how hooked I got into it.
All
And
right, well, put me on.
yeah.
I'm open. I want to know. I'm like, because right now I'm watching. I'm into the Nollywood, the Nigerian series right now. Wow.
Yeah?
What?
I mean, a lot of the things that are coming from everywhere.
I watched a series from Mexico. I cannot remember the name of it because once I watch it, it's out of my head. It's like how when you do a job.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but I loved Netflix and all these things because they just give me access to all these different. I'm like, ooh,
The Asian market is amazing.
what?
It's
I
like
love watching their shows.
some really good stories. There was this oh my god, I've seen so many. I'm blanking out. There's this movie that came out. It just plays with memories.
Hmm.
I tend to like that kind of stuff. I really like it when the stories dive into like the psyche of the characters and how it brings out the worst in them, and I love it. It's
Mhm.
raw human emotion, and it's a reminder that we all have that. Anyways,
Did you grow up like that?
oh yeah, I mean I didn't I grew up in not in non it was kind of we were poor growing up, and
Did you know you were poor? Because a lot of people that I know that didn't know. Like you don't know what you don't have.
so I mean it didn't bother me.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I when other kids had a lot of toys, I had like, I used to cut little action figures out of paper and I would play with them.
Hmm.
I was always like really in my head.
Creative.
Always.
Creative.
But yeah.
Creativity comes from when you don't have nothing. Look what we both birthed from the strike.
Yeah,
We didn't have no work. We didn't have nothing to do.
absolutely.
So go ahead, finish. Cause
No,
I
no,
want to know.
yeah.
I just want to. I'm always interested to know how you grew up.
So my mom was the one who took care of us
Mhm.
growing up. My dad lived in New York, and I would only see him, during the summer times occasionally. But my mom, took care of me, and it was very difficult. We lived in a tiny apartment. At times we would live with my grandmother.
Thank God for grandmothers,
Oh my gosh,
right?
yeah, oh
And
yeah,
for them, that's why they always keep their place because they know everyone could come back.
yep. My grandma was great. She took care of me for a long time when my mom went through her whole cancer stage.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, that's a lot to remember.
Because you're such a kind person. You understand? Like I'm
Thank
serious.
you.
Like you're such a kind person, and you're like you've been consistent. I've known you almost 10 years. Very consistent.
Yeah, I like
That
being
comes from
consistent.
how you were like,
You
how
know,
you grew up.
well, I remember this one thing, right? My dad and my mom separately. I remember they once told me, cut a picture of yourself and put it in the car that you want. And remember that when you visualize yourself into whatever you want,
Hmm.
it'll happen, right? Obviously, I took that to heart. Actually, there's this one thing from the Bible. It's funny. My dad told me this, and it always stuck to me. It's probably my first tattoo.
Hmm.
If you have the faith of a mustard seed, you will tell this mountain to move from here to there, and it will move, and nothing will be impossible for you.
Mm.
I believe that.
And you were told that from young.
I was told that when I was a little kid. It doesn't matter if you believe in God or not. It's just that. Like there's that power that comes from
That
inside of you.
little mustard seed of faith in God,
Right.
that even if you don't believe how other believers believe or how other religious people believe, or if you don't go to church, you just need a little bit.
Yeah.
And look how much God has carried you through your whole life. And we said that because you said you have a kind of canny kind of life. And I'm like,
Well, man, that's a whole other side
your
that
life is amazing. Okay?
No, we were very religious growing up, Spanish
Mm-hmm.
at last. Um but I've I've always had this like this hand over my shoulder. I kid you not. It's
Mm-hmm.
like it's almost like I dodge bullets because of that. It's almost like I'm in the right place because of that. It's I can't explain it. That's why I said uncanny.
It's
Um,
it's God
it just
because
happens.
yeah, that's just how he works. If you just said to me that you could the impossible, what's impossible? What we don't understand, right?
Yeah.
But you know, because I've made plenty of bad decisions and I'm like, ooh,
Haven't we
that could have
all?
went worse. That could have ended real bad.
Yeah.
Girl, you could have died
Yeah.
a few times.
Yeah.
So when I look at my life now, I'm like, girl, look at you on at your talk show. This is not what I thought I would be doing 5 years ago, 10 years ago. It's not what I thought I was going to be doing 2 years ago.
You'll have your audience next year.
Yeah. And this is why I'm starting to love doing this.
Yeah.
So it's like when people initially when I started to show out because I was so excited about how my life had been improving since I've been saved again and just getting a understanding of God at this age because who I am now is different from who I was before. So I needed to learn everything again
Right.
as me, as this adult. And it's like, oh wow, you did this? You were 50 Cent stylist? You've been around the world almost. I got 2 passports. I've been to places more time than people will ever go in their entire life, like
Yeah.
literally. And when I really started thinking of them, I'm like, wow, okay, you didn't even have like much like experience, like even. And then when I got into film and television, you didn't really have much. I mean, no, I had a lot of experience, but film and television was something different. It was a
Right.
whole like learning a whole nother language.
Mhm.
I'm like rolling bells. What? It's like crafty.
Yeah.
What was it? Checking the gate.
Gotta check the gate.
I'm
What
like,
is
what?
that?
Martini. I'm like, they drink at work?
What? Used to. Not anymore.
Yeah, so it's like for me, I always believed in God, but now it's different because now I'm seeing God's power.
Hmm.
So when people say, oh, like remember I said to you, because you said, nope, but put it in the universe. I said, I'm not putting it in the universe. I'm giving it to God because God created the universe and he's not a fisherman. So he's not gonna just I'll be out there fishing for what you want. I said I could go to the source and ask him myself. And I have been, and it's been working.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. And then look at you. And then I get to see through my friends, like we started together.
Yeah.
We were the ones who got put outside. Well, not you because you were the AC. I was kind of out, when the house is too little. So
Yeah.
you're really needed. Me, I'm outside.
No, I always fought for that. Like I would always go to the director. Do you mind if I'm here during your rehearsals? And they're
That's how
like,
he learned.
I like it. I truly appreciate seeing how it happens
Mm-hmm.
and knowing what's so that I know what to do. And I suck it all in because I'm doing something that
This film is gonna be good. So does it have a name yet?
Oh yeah,
What is it?
reconocer. It's a palindrome in Spanish.
Mm-hmm. Wait, say that again.
Reconocer. It means to recognize.
To recognize.
Yeah, but it's a palindrome, and I did that intentionally so that it reads the same backwards.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Creative in that too. That's dope, which makes it even better. So I know you were doing your fundraiser for your pre-production. So that by the time this comes out, that has ended. But there will still be opportunities for us to donate money. I'm all about being generous and donating because we need to make sure that once pre-production is done, then you can start
Yeah.
start recording because I would love. I mean, I think it's such an amazing idea to give people perspective so that we could be more empathetic towards people who are living with dementia.
I agree. Yeah. And I knew that I needed to make the film after we didn't make our goal the first crowdfunding round. I had to stop, I had to stop for like a month, and then I kept hearing from people about, their thoughts on the story, and I was like, okay, I there's something here, and I really need to push for it, and that's what I've been doing for the past 2 months. And oh my God, tomorrow's the last day, and we're almost there.
No, you're there.
Yes, we're
You
there.
made it. You made it.
Yep. Next week we set the dates.
Yeah, you made it because, you made it.
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah.
I save up all my Starbucks money because I like to make my own coffee now that I order from I get Cafe Du Monde. I ordered 6 cans. It lasts me a few months, and I make it myself. So I save the $8, $9, $10
Yeah.
that you spend in Starbucks. So
Good.
there you go. You can have my Starbucks money.
Awesome.
So now you hit your goal.
I was joking about that earlier
No,
too. I
I'm
was like,
serious.
don't spend money on that.
I was dead serious.
Mhm.
So now you made your goal.
It's amazing. Thank you.
Good.
Thank
And good. I want to see. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see directed.
I
So are you
know.
gonna what name are you gonna use?
For
Your full name?
oh yeah, I'm
Okay.
my name. I'm gonna carry that until I drop.
There you go. So let everyone know your Instagram, if you have a website for the film, all the information. We'll also put it in the credits at the end of the episode, and so that people could check this out. Follow the process, because I'll also talk about it as he goes along. Because I'm sure a lot of people don't know what pre-production is, but we'll explain more as you go along, because.
Yeah.
I want to see this come to fruition too, so I could be like, yeah, we talked about this on my talk show.
You gotta stop by too and get some stop by set. We're gonna shoot it in Brooklyn.
Ooh, and that's
So
it always bothered me when people had guests come to see, but I get it. It's like I'm at work. Why do you want to? I don't come sit at your job, but I get it. We're in a very different. So no, I'll come. I just want a big chair. I want one of those high chairs.
just sit
You know
right.
that?
You can have my chair. I don't
There we
even need
go.
to.
Because you're not gonna be sitting in it anyways.
I'm gonna be right next
Oh,
to the
that's gonna be
camera.
so exciting. I'm like,
Dialed.
yeah, this is my friend. We work together. My first long job. I can't wait to tell everybody that. That's dope. I'm so proud of you. I am. I'm so proud of
Thank
you.
you.
Because
Thank
we've
you.
come a long way from freezing outside
Oh God, yeah, that's torture.
for hours on end, rain,
Yeah.
elements. They don't care.
Nope.
6 feet of snow. Are you close?
It'll take any strong man down.
Yeah.
Oh,
All right. So share all your social medias, websites, everything. Floor is yours.
All right.
This one.
That one. So my personal Instagram is bulls_I, and there you can see all my crazy madness. For the film, it's Reconocer the film. Wait, Reconocer_the film. I think we'll have to.
Yeah, because that's fancy, and I'm like, I haven't repeated it because I will not until I learn Spanish. I will not mess that up.
The film is Spanglish, which is
Okay,
amazing.
we'll get that, or we'll put in captions.
And then for the website, I think I just middleofnowherefilms.com.
Middleofnowherefilms.com.
Yeah, that's where you'll see more of the stuff that we're cooking up.
Okay,
Yeah.
and I'll make sure that it's in the credits at the end. So check those out. And check out all my past episodes because they're really good. And I'm not just saying that because I'm the host. I'm saying them because I really put a lot of hard work into it. And I love what I'm doing now. Like, I really do love doing this now. So click like and subscribe. I'm Mia Quinn Maddox. And this is my guest,
Jorge Del Toro.
my good friend. And we'll see you next time. Peace. And in between. Check it out. YouTube. Click like and subscribe. Subscribe. Thanks.